Hello everybody and welcome to my very own YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Beck and I blog over at Beauty with Beck. I've been blogging now for about 4 years. This will be my 4th year this year, and I have now decided to take the plunge into YouTube. So please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'll have some amazing content coming. For today, I'm actually going to be doing a somewhat review, somewhat first impressions on some new makeup brushes as well as some new beauty sponges. This brand called Platinum, and it's actually going to be available from the supermarket, from Woolworths here in Australia. So super affordable brushes. I get into prices and exactly what brushes I have here in the next portion of the video, which I'm going to try them out. Please enjoy this video. If you like my content and you want to subscribe, I would absolutely love it if you could. Also give this video a thumbs up. If you have any post suggestions, any questions, leave them below in the comments. I will also leave links to my blog and all my social media below as well. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'm really happy to have you along for the ride. Thanks guys, bye. Hey. So I'll jump into the review. Today we are going to be reviewing some brushes from Platinum. These brushes were sent to me from PR, just as a little disclaimer. 8 brushes I have in total. So I'll basically just run through now what the brushes are, and then we can also run through some prices on how much they are. And I'll also leave that information down below as well in the description box. But for now, I have in my hands at the moment, I have a base blending brush, which would be good for foundation or any even concealer or any cream product, cream contouring. I also have a blush brush, which feels very, very soft. And then a big fluffy powder brush there as well. I also have 2 eyeshadow brushes. So I have just like a fluffy blending brush, just looks like that. And then I also have an eyeshadow brush as well, which I think would be really nice for blending shadows into the crease as well. Along with those brushes, I also have 3 brushes here which do come in a little set, like a little travel set. So there is the buffing brush, again, which would be good. It's like a flat kabuki style brush, which would be good for foundation or any other cream products. Also I have a small powder brush, and then I also have a contouring brush as well. So I figured today I will try and use as many brushes as I can, and yeah, we can go through and see what they're like and see how they feel and see if they're worth picking up. Now price wise, the set of 3 here is called the Platinum Essential Collection, is $29.95. It also does come with a little travel bag for $30, so $10 basically a brush. The eyeshadow brushes here are $9.99, so again $10 each. And then the 3 other brushes I have here, so the powder brush is say $20, $19.99. The blush brush, it's a bit of a mouthful, is $18.99. And then the base blending brush is $14.99. So somewhat affordable brushes. Like I mentioned in the intro, these brushes are available from Woolworths supermarkets here in Australia, which is amazing to have some sort of, or any sort of brushes and affordable brushes and makeup available at the supermarket is awesome. Whether you're somebody perhaps starting out with makeup, or even if you're a makeup lover for a long time, but you perhaps find it hard to either order online or to get into the stores, being able to have brushes that are easily accessible at the supermarket that's wonderful. Also got these blending sponges here as well. I have like the kind of like the beauty blender style, like the teardrop, and then I also have a purple one like this, which is good for, I guess you could have blending or bouncing the product into the skin on this side, and then the angled side here is really good for contouring or perhaps cleaning up your contouring line underneath. So these ones here come in a pack of 2. And they're $9.99 each, so basically $5 a sponge, which is awesome value. So I'll just pop on some foundation here. Actually, I'll do a little bit of primer. The products I'm using, the makeup products I'm using, I will list down below in the description box. For those of you who don't know, I also have a beauty blog as well, so I will leave a link to that below. You can check that out too. Let's jump into using, I might use the base blending brush. It's a very, very soft brush. Actually, all the brushes from this collection are very, very soft. So I'll use that by I'll distribute the foundation onto my skin, and then I'll blend it in with one of the beauty sponges. Off the bat, this brush, I mean, I have a lot of product on my skin, so it's doing an okay job of blending that in. Like I said, I will go in with one of the beauty sponges to probably blend it out. But yeah, it is leaving a lot of bristle marks. Okay, we'll go in with the pink one, and I'll just bounce that into my skin and blend it in. Sponges are quite dense, so if they compared to a beauty blender, or even I generally use the Real Techniques beauty sponges, the orange one, and this does feel a lot more dense, and even perhaps a little bit more heavy than that sponge as well. I do feel a difference between the purple one and the pink one. This one basically feels like the orange Real Techniques brush when it's wet. I should also mention that you do need to wet these before you use them. So I've just done that. I've just run them under some water and just squeezed out as much of the excess water as I could. When I'm using this, it kind of almost feels like there's something like in the middle of it, which feels really weird. But it doesn't all feel soft and squishy like, say, a regular beauty blender. It almost feels like there's like something in the middle of it holding it together. But it's done a pretty good job at blending out that foundation. Next I'll go in with some concealer, and we'll use the tip of this one to blend out the concealer, and we'll see how that goes. I should also mention that I am not a professional makeup artist. So everything that you see on my channel, all the videos that you watch, are just for informative purposes only. Yeah, this is doing a really good job at blending out the concealer, especially around my eyes. I love the tip. This tip is probably a little bit more pointed than, say, a regular beauty blender, but it's doing a really good job at getting right in the inner corner of my eye and blending out. I do have somewhat hooded eyes, and I do have quite a lot of skin in the fold in the inner corner, which sometimes can take a little while for me to blend out products, just because the tip sometimes isn't as pointed, therefore it doesn't get right in to be able to blend it out, but that's done a really good job. Just do this other side. It's done a really good job at blending out that concealer. I'm very impressed. So next, I'm just going to use a little bit of powder to set down the foundation and the concealer I've just popped on. I'm going to go in again with the sponge. I find when I set under my eyes with a powder using a sponge, it really helps the powder sink into my skin, and it doesn't emphasize I have a lot of fine lines under my eyes, and it doesn't emphasize that. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of powder on my beauty sponge and make sure that I've buffed out or blended out any creasing, and then I'm going to go in there, and it's kind of like baking, I guess you could say, but instead of leaving the product on there for a couple of minutes and then wiping away, I'm just going to continue to keep pouncing the sponge until it's all gone, until it's melted into the skin. Okay, next I'm going to use the small powder brush, which basically it's just like a small powder brush. comparison size to this is the powder brush to the small one. So this is the one that comes in the travel set, just to give you an indication on the sizing. This powder brush feels very, very soft. I did feel this up against my Real Techniques powder brush, the one with the orange handle, and this one is a lot softer. So just to, I'm going to use the small one just to sort of set the powder along my nose, my chin, even my forehead, and then I'll go in with the big one to set my cheeks. This brush feels so soft. And the handles are very heavy, like this part here is very, very heavy, so it does make it feel very luxurious. So next we'll go in with contour, blush and highlight. So I'm going to use the contouring brush, which basically is just like an angled brush. It does have a little bit of product on there because I did use it last night when I went out for dinner. Apply, basically what I do when I do my contouring is I pop the product down, I blend across, and then I'll do little circular motions to sort of blend up as well. I find doing up in circular motions really helps with making sure I control the line and not a lot of product will fall below that line. I generally use the NARS Ciate brush, only because I find because it is so flat and so long, I can really get that chiseled line there. I find generally brushes that are angled are still kind of a bit too fluffy, and I really struggle with getting that line precise. But I really, really love this brush. So far, these brushes are really, really good. There isn't one brush yet that I haven't used that I don't like. Now, the collection doesn't actually have a highlight brush, so what I will do is I'll wipe off the excess of this small powder brush. I'm just going to use that as my highlight brush. I also like to use a lot of highlighter because I don't think that you can ever have enough highlighter. I do have a blush brush here which I'm going to use. I can't believe that these will be available from the supermarket. The quality is amazing. Now I also did wash these last night just to see if any of the bristles would fall out or how they would wash, and they were all fine. None of the bristles come out of any of them. Now I'm going to actually use this contour eye brush, which is just like a small fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to use this to go down the sides of my nose and really define that contour. I'm going to go and do my brows. I'll do my brows and then I'll be back, and then we'll do the eyes. We'll use the other eye brushes as well, and we'll come back and do the eyes. So I'll be back in a jiffy. Now I'm back. Brows are on. Now let's try out these shadow brushes. Now remembering again, I did use the small fluffy brush to pop on a little bit of nose contour. So I'm just going to use that same brush again and just pop the contouring shade that I'm using on my face today. I'm going to pop that in my crease. These brushes are blending out the product really, really well. I really like that the handles aren't too long. Sometimes I find when there's I have a eyeshadow brush with a long handle, as much as it is good to help with the blending, sometimes I feel like I'm doing this. And for somebody who has somewhat small eyes and absolutely no crease, I do prefer to have my hands a bit further down the brush, just so I can really have control and blend that out. Because these brushes are so small as well, they would be good for travel. I mean, they're probably that's the travel brush. So there's not much difference in the size. But yeah, you could easily travel with these. Now to use the eyeshadow brush. So it's just basically like a domed shaped brush. It is quite fluffy as well. So we'll see how it goes on the lid. I'm just going to take the highlight shade that I used on my cheeks. I'm just going to pop that on my lid and work that up into the crease. This has done a really nice job at blending. I'm just going to pop a little bit just in the inner corner. And then I'm just going to use the same brush just to pop a little bit on the brow bone. I'm just going to skip doing my eyeliner, my mascara and my lips, and I'll come back and give my final thoughts on the brushes. My final thoughts are that they are awesome. They are so soft and so easy to use. I love that they're going to be available at the supermarket. Like I mentioned before, it's just going to be so easily accessible for everybody to get some decent makeup brushes. Even as a mum, I know that sometimes the budget can be really, really hard, and at the end of the week there's never enough money left for us, and if there is, we always seem to spend it on the rest of the family. So if you do need brushes that can be so easily available and you can pick them up during your weekly shop, then this is them. These are so good. Again, I love that they have beautiful heavy handles that makes them feel very luxurious. I would really like to see perhaps some more eyeshadow brushes in the collection. I mean, I think this is a really good starting point. Everybody needs a blending brush, and this is basically, even though it just is named an eyeshadow brush, that is basically a crease brush. It would be similar to, say, like a Sigma E25 brush, I guess you could almost say. It's probably a bit fluffier and a little bit bigger than that, but still it's an awesome brush. I've basically done my entire face with these brushes today, and I absolutely love them. Otherwise, yeah, please feel free to leave your post suggestions below. Give this video a thumbs up. It's so strange even saying that. I'm also going to continue to blog as well, in case that was a question that anybody had. I'm going to do both. I don't know how I'm going to fit it in, but I'm going to fit it in because YouTube is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. But I guess I never really had the balls to start, so I'm glad that I've done that now. But until my next video, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.